while I am
So I
Thank you,
getting my screen in place.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited that you're here to meet one of oh my God, one of the most interesting, awesome person, Mr. Denale. And today we're going to talk about AI. Denale Powell has a plethora of information. Oh my God. And I can't wait. So I'm gonna let you introduce you and get started. So let's go. Let's go.
Okay. Well, no, thank you for that awesome introduction. Miss Yolanda, hope all is well, and thank you for who can join. And if we get more, we'll just kind of dialogue. I definitely want to make it interactive and I have a presentation, but want to make it as interactive and meet everybody where they're at, because AI is something that's growing organically. But my background, guess, kind of all over the place, but the last about 25 years, my background itself is in graphic design and web design. So we'll talk about that and AI, how that evolved. But that's my core background, what I went to school for back in the 90s. SIU Edwardsville, um, and that was for graphic design, digital imaging, web design, and that.
Okay, you gotta brag on yourself too, because I know it's kind of hard to do that. But he's an author. He is a multi-entrepreneur. He has so many different businesses. And what's your tagline? Because I love your tagline. For some reason, I can't think of it. Wait a minute. Your network is your network.
Is your network.
Hey, I got it.
That's the one. And then
I'm excited that you're here talking to us, and I know how hard it is sometimes to express all those things that you are to so many people and how many people you touch. So we're excited that you're here. And just to let you guys on the Zoom know that he wants it to be interactive. So once he does start and you have questions, you can ask them. So I'm gonna shut up again, but I had to say that. All right.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, serial tech. I guess my tag would be a serial tech entrepreneur in marketing, automotive, and then insurance. The last 6-7 years been in insurance as well. So just a kind of a tech entrepreneur, and everything kind of ties to what we're talking about, AI, automation, and we'll get into the detail. And I'm pretty sure everybody on the call, and we'll get into the basics. Oh, say that again, Mr. Hill.
I'm sorry. Somebody else was talking.
Oh, no problem. Not a problem. I do want to get to know everybody's on the call so we can kind of find out how to connect it to where we're at. But no, again, just been a big believer in technology and kind of watch how it evolves. And I will say with AI, a lot of times, everybody on this call is using AI. I guarantee you, by either show of hands or just for response, who all have used, say, Siri before? Or Alexa? Anybody familiar with those? Google Maps?
Absolutely.
Yes, no, okay. Those are all forms of AI. A lot of them been around for a while, actually. But so AI kind of shows itself in different spaces. And before I get into the PowerPoint and all that, who is what type of industries are we currently in? That's representing. Are we in non-for-profit? Are we in healthcare? Are we in marketing, technology, business? What are some industries that we have represented so far on this call?
We're a special events decorating and design firm.
Okay, so definitely. How long you been in business?
It's a family business. I'm second generation. We've been in business for roughly 37 years.
Very nice. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Very nice. And I'm looking now, seeing okay, okay, how's it going, Audrey? I'm glad she was able to join. Miss Ellerman, Audrey Ellerman, Neighborhood Association. We have
be forever.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good.
I called her there. My apologies. Charge it to my heart. I got your call. I thought I responded back in an email and never did.
Yeah, I got it, and for some reason I still have problems. It made me go to Eventbrite, and they wouldn't let me do things. But I'm here now, so I won't hold.
I want you to be great, but Yolanda is great about coordinating everything. So thank you. Okay, so we have a non-for-profit with this is Still Moore, business consultant. LaShonda Fitch. I don't want to mess anybody's name up. Then we have quite a few different industries. We have non-for-profit, we said. So quite a few different, and Josh mentioned a family-owned business, 30 plus years in business. That's a round of applause just for that. So how long have you been affiliated with the business, Mr. Hill?
Well, like I said, I'm second generation, so I was born into it.
Okay, born into nice.
Yeah, sir. I'm 35 years old. So I've been actively in the business probably 15, 20 years for sure.
Nice, definitely, very good, very good. So we'll just get into it. So everybody on this call, by either show of hands or you can mention something. Who has what level from a scale of 1 to 10? And nobody, I'm not even a 10 myself with AI. AI is still evolving and there's so much to it. But what I'm going to talk about, and I'll pull up the presentation here in a second. We're just going to talk about kind of where it began. I don't know. Most of you probably know it began like in the 1950s, really the core of it. So we'll kind of, or maybe not knowing that it's been around for a while in different iterations. So then and that was founded a while back at Dartmouth. It was like a piece, but it's the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it had some development, but only really in the last 15 years, we hear a lot about it in different spaces. But it's like I say, Google Maps been around for a while. So, and some other technology that we leverage and don't realize is AI. So who's been on Constant Contact or built a website in Wix or Weebly or WordPress? Anybody? Yeah, that's all of those platforms now, from GoDaddy to Wix, Weebly, Squarespace. All those platforms are tied to AI centric method, just like Constant Contact, just like pretty much anything we use now. Obviously, our phone is tied to everything AI centric too. It's pretty much voice. Early AI was like voice command. So if you give something a command and then it executes it through the data system, that's basic AI. Is artificial intelligence, and it's the way we communicate. Who on this call have used or heard of Chat GPT?
I have.
Okay, Audrey. Have you used it? Has everybody used it? Let me pull up the presentation while I'm speaking. So
I've actually used it one time. That's just to create like a workout regimen for myself. That was
okay.
it.
Yeah, good success with it. I mean, it's kind of hard not to because it does it. In fact, this platform I'm using now, you guys familiar with Canva? I don't. You'll be able to see my screen here in a little bit.
Yes, sir. Canva just had a presentation yesterday
Okay.
incorporating AI into Canva itself. So I
Absolutely.
think
Can
that
everybody
yes.
see my screen currently?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to get into
Yeah.
this. Just and a lot of people, Yolanda alluded to it in the beginning, but like, how do you run all these businesses, do all this? So I probably have 6 or 7 different businesses from a marketing and public relation. Yolanda didn't mention she's a published author too. So I'm a published author, obviously a web developer, a graphic designer. And over the last, just in those industries alone, obviously now insurance and insurance and some other hats that I wear now in home healthcare marketing and things like that. All the businesses that I've personally worked in the last 25 or so years have different niches, obviously, from non for profit to automotive to different business, but they all have and now really rely heavily on automation and AI services. So we'll get into that. So I have some of the companies listed. Blackball is primarily a merchandising brand apparel company that's e-commerce driven. Again, the NIL marketing company is Red Riding Hood. Um, that's publishing, that's marketing, that's branding, that's kind of all that. And Powell Life and Investments is insurance, which uses a lot of AI, just automation, something we called lead generation and things like that. So here's a brief introduction. We want to, again, I don't want to make it too wordy. I don't want it interactive. I right now, Yolanda, I can't see the chat. So if anybody posts something, just you can let me know, or someone can let me know so I can dialogue with that. But with the chat, because I got a share screen going now, so I can't see if anybody uh, responded. But again, we did a basic intro. Obviously, AI is in everything we do. So even I'll use you, Audrey, with the neighborhood association. I'm pretty sure when you're getting out emails, do you have a certain database you use outside of just Gmail? Do you send it out through like Constant Contact? Um,
I do
uh,
mainly emails because I'm not that familiar with how to do other things. Now my our secretary is also our media person, so she's been really sending things out, you know, that we need. And so I wanted to become more familiar with how it works to get an understanding of what is the best platform to work from, you know.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely get into that, and that's under the understanding what platforms to use.
Hmm.
We already talked about some of the things we've already been using, like Google Maps and Siri and Alexa, but ultimately, it's a ton of platforms that we have that that we can streamline from getting information out, getting disseminating information to the masses, or if you're trying to target certain groups. And the biggest thing that the three big takeaways I think for AI would be, it saves you time, it streamlines, and it is in any of those repetitive tasks it can do. I wouldn't. And then as businesses are growing, they're trying to leverage it to obviously monetize and reach larger audiences, things like that. So we'll get into we already talked about AI. Been around since we may not have known it, but it's been growing and evolving since the 50s. Um, we'll get into implementation, how to include some plans. We'll get into benefits and impact. We'll get into how to educate yourself, self-education, or as seminars and workshops. I still do those and some certification. At the end, I have a little short video. I'm not saying go with this particular guy, but he talks about if you want to even get further and get certified for either your company or your just for yourself, so you have self knowledge and you be an AI certified specialist. And I'm pretty sure it's a small cost too, but that's something if you want to get really into it. If not, I have certain platforms that I personally use and kind of evolve with over time too. And then we'll get into a Q&A, or we kind of do that organically too. So, but really quick, GoDaddy is a platform, Arrow. So me going back to my roots as a web developer and just a timeline, 20 years ago, you might have charged somebody like me 10,000, 15,000, whatever, to build a website from scratch, code and all that. Fast forward to now, I won't even fast forward to now, 10, 15 years ago, you had do-it-yourself platforms called CMS, which is content management systems, like a WordPress or Weebly or Wix, all these different platforms. But now is a step, and you didn't have to have no code or anything like that. You could just kind of drag and drop, or you didn't have to necessarily be a coder to build your website. But now AI taking it a step further, where you can pretty much have a command to say, I want to build a site for a neighborhood association, colors of blue and orange. Here's our history, and you the information you submit. If that's the input that'll populate, obviously. But and that's getting now into like Chat GPT and things like that. But all platforms have an AI component now because it's set to streamline. So that's what we'll kind of get into. And then we'll also get into how to integrate and kind of stay current with all these different trends too. So obviously we talked about the history, excuse it, some of these typos, but obviously it was 1956 with the official, when AI became coined at Dartmouth. There was a conference at Dartmouth by several guys, John McCarthy, about 4 or 5 guys kind of coined it. And then ever since then, been kind of evolving. For some of the businesses now, how are you incorporating? So like John, are you incorporating any AI in your business currently? Or this for anybody, Audrey, is anybody currently incorporating, whether it's a non-for-profit or for-profit? And if so, what are you currently doing? So I can see where we're at, so I kind of tailor this a little bit.
Yeah, so this is LaShonda. I do incorporate AI with a lot of my content material.
Okay.
I also use it to be able to, as far as Gemini on the
Yeah.
Google
Okay.
platform,
Yes.
assist as it relates to pretty much the content, and also images and things like.
Okay. So so Gemini is your go-to AI platform right now, and that's a great one. Mhm.
Oh, sorry, I thought you was asking.
No, I'm asking. Yeah. So because I mentioned Chat GPT, but Gemini is a great one that I'm trying to see who else has utilized Gemini, because
Yeah, and so I like to use the 3 different ones because they give you different outcomes. So
yes.
Gemini is one. They now have where they have like employees. There's one called Centra.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so it's interesting to just kind of see the different information that you get from the different chats because they're trained differently, is my understanding. And so you
Absolutely.
can find a different outcome where one may tell you something and another one tell you something else. And you're like, oh, okay, let me put that together.
Absolutely great, and that's a great segue. So that's a good point too. So I would never have just one end all be all. So how you said you use Gemini, and you could have other platforms because they go off of, like you say, the information you put into them. So Gemini, and there's one called Enzo. That's a newer, well, not newer, but depending how familiar everybody are with some of these AI platforms. That's a platform that's more monetization, business centric, right? For business professionals, called ENSO. And it's later in this presentation. And if this is helpful, you guys I can make sure Yolanda can send this PowerPoint out. But ultimately, we'll talk through some of these. But Gemini is obviously powered by Google, so that's going to have it's going to have a different interactivity than like a Chat GPT. A lot Chat GPT. My wife's an educator and an author and everything too, and she uses it a lot just with in the classroom setting. But then you always want to tweak it, because I say with AI, it's pros and cons to it, because sometimes, just like with technology in general, we can get so um, I guess reliant on it that we lose some of our, say if you're a writer or a coder. I'll use myself for an example. 20 some years ago, I was really good in coding, HTML and all that. Over the years, because we have these systems and platforms, you got to keep yourself sharp in that, because you can lose some of your core skill set if you get so caught up in the AI type of environment. But it helps you streamline everything. So it's all, for a web developer, something that might have took you weeks or months, you can do in several seconds really now. And then being a coder, you can go back in and correct it. Or if you're a good writer, or whatever your skill set, you can you can use that to really be more efficient. So that's kind of what the goal from a business standpoint, to be more efficient in your business. So like with you with Gemini, LaShonda, you primarily use it for content scheduling, posts, social media, and your content that way to drip feed through social media, or do you use it for to disseminate information to your clients,
A
or both?
combination of both, like especially when I got writer's block, I can have
Yeah.
it start my email or,
Mhm.
just various things. And then it's like, okay, now I will take over because to your point, yes, there is a mandatory human element that's required as well, because they're not going to write like you or your style.
Absolutely. Your unique
Um,
selling point. Mhm.
yep.
No, that's exactly true. Do you also, are you the only one putting out content for your, and this is for everybody, but you first, LaShawn, are you the only one putting out content for your business, or do you have other people using Gemini and other platforms putting out content? Or where's I'm saying this from a uniformity standpoint.
Yeah, so it's just me right now. I don't have any other employees that are working under my firm.
Oh,
So
no
it's all
problem.
my.
What's happening? Oh no, perfect. And this is good for solopreneurs or sole proprietors. And so what type of business do I can't see the
Oh, no worries. So I'm a business consultant. I guide individuals who are in the pre-venture stage to
nice.
provide them the tools and resources to launch their business, get it registered, launched. And also I have a government contracting experience. So I help those who are interested in contracting with the state of Illinois.
Very nice. So like A8 contracts or
8A is on the federal level, but as it
okay.
relates to the not Secretary of State, but the CMS, Central
Okay.
Management Services. And so those specific agencies here in the state of Illinois, I can assist them through that process.
Very nice. Okay. Do so you definitely want to leverage from a consulting, say a new business, they have an idea from concept to creation, you get with them, and it's you definitely, especially when they're starting off small or even mid-sized, to have some AI resources so they don't so it can help you prevent business burnout too, trying to do everything or trying to think you have to, pay top dollar and all that. So sometimes do you offer like Gemini or Chat GPT to some of your clients in their startup phase?
I
Or
don't necessarily like sell it or offer it, but yes, giving them the tools and letting them know what's available to them to help
Mhm.
ease that burden of being the jack of all trades and the be all for your business. So yeah, there's several tools that I share with them,
Okay.
especially on the accounting software component, because
Yes.
there's a lot to maintain if you are the only individual in your business and not in a position to hire that next person. But
Absolutely.
yes, there's a lot of tools out there to help in the various aspects of operating a business.
Okay, no, absolutely. And this is for everybody. What I would encourage, just from a engagement standpoint with your current client base and things like that, are you all using any autoresponders or ways to stay engaged? And everybody has when I say, and I'll make sure I just don't use acronyms. So when I say CRM, that everybody familiar with a CRM or kind of a content management system?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so we have two. So you might have something like, I don't know if you're familiar with Zoho, or you might have heard of Salesforce, or everybody want to have a platform that houses all of your clients or your information. So say if I'll use a car dealership, and you have your clients that you've been working with for years. A lot of times you want to stay engaged with them, whether you sold them a car last year, 5 years ago. Same thing for insurance and law. Any business owner, you want to have a system where all your clients are kind of aggregated. That's typically called the CRM, or whatever platform you use.
Is Honeybook a platform?
Yeah, yes. Honeybook is a and correct me if I'm wrong. Who mentioned that? I think that's tied to like Intuit and that whole platform, or is that a separate piece? Um, but yeah, it would be considered anything that would capture your customer's email, phone number, address, and kind of that information is kind of like a CRM. So does
So
Honeybook
what
do
I
that?
need to know, Janelle,
Mhm.
as like I said, I have a secretary. She really kind of does a lot of the different things, but I'm trying to see something that can really focus on grabbing information from neighborhoods, and then I also have a list of, I like to have a separate list of my um, business contacts. So, I mean, what
Yes.
would be the best platform? Now, both have, of course, Google and Microsoft, but I haven't been really comfortable with trying to use it because didn't know how invasive these.
Well, I would say and this is for you particularly and everybody. So if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can actually aggregate and use through AI, or just kind of cherry picking and pull. If you want to do something called ZAG, it's zip, age, gender, where you pull in any zip codes, or in your case, everybody in that neighborhood zip codes, and any other criteria you want, and you can aggregate a list, and you can you can compile your list based on, or just anybody that obviously your emails that you already received, and you put them in one centralized location. Then
Mhm.
anytime you send out an email, you have an event coming up, or save the date, you're just pushing that one button and going out to everybody, um, with the same kind of messaging. And that's the AI part that's saving you time and everything. And that's letting you know, say if the event is 3-4 months away, you might have a series of messages going out. Here's the
Right.
save the date. Don't remember remember the RSVP, or different prompts to make sure they're still in your quote unquote sales funnel. But this is done automatically by the prompts you put in through the platform, whether it's Constant Contact, MailChimp,
Mhm.
Action Network, and several platforms you can pick. Most of them work the same, but you just pick a platform that, and they all are either relatively free to start off, but once you get a little bit more traction, and this is like a lot of the platforms that's AI centric. So when we talk about Canva and these different platforms, a lot of times they have a free platform, but once you
Mhm.
start getting enough contacts, and there's going to have a cost associated with it based on
Okay.
how many. So, and I can send you, let me see if I have some here. Let me go to the next slide. But you probably want a constant contact type of platform where you can
Right.
actually,
Right.
where you can actually, and then we'll get into like chat bots and things like that. But, and I'll
Mr. Powell.
send you some information. And to your point, I'm trying to pull that up now. Who you said it was Honey Book?
And Mr.
Correct,
Powell got a question
Honeybook.
for you.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, sir.
Yes, sir. It's called Honeybook. And when you say constant contact, are you still talking about CRMs?
Yeah, that's just that's where you have all of your say your email. Say if you have 500 email addresses, they would all be housed in your constant contact. And if you send something out like just a basic information just to stay in front of people, hey, we're second generation um, company, we do X, Y, and Z. If you have any friends, family, send us a referral. We have a whatever you want to incentivize them. So yeah, it would be constant contact would be considered a CRM that way. Mhm.
Mr. Powell, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Well,
we're in the office taking a class. So my name is Antoinette Ayers, and we are a nonprofit. One of the things that we do that I use specifically on my email, I don't know if anybody knows, GMAS is another CRM.
Okay.
So we deliver our mass. You can put timing on it where it automates the system for you. So that's
Okay.
one thing. It's free for a period of time, then it has a cost estimate. Another one is we use Gemini's auto response for some things.
Okay. So I'm sorry, spell the first name because I want to make sure I write these down and get these out to everybody too. If people aren't familiar, you said G-Man.
GMAS is connected to your Gmail.
Okay. So yeah,
How do you find that? How would you find that in your Gmail?
So it just came up in a prompt one day when I was online.
Okay. I've
'Cause I was
never
trying to
seen
figure out how
that.
to-
That's why I
yeah,
was
because
wondering.
unless you send out mass emails, like if you want to send out
Email
thousands
blast.
of bolts,
Mhm.
but you can time it and you can see you open it up. So it keeps up all of your CRMs for you.
Okay.
So that's a good one. That's how social media has like a cluster where you can load up all your social because again, it's about saving time. So say if you
Yeah,
use
right.
Facebook, I'll just use the three that I use the most probably even today is Facebook, uh, LinkedIn, and probably I'll say Instagram. And they all have different purposes, but you can aggregate all of them and have all your different posts and content going out and your different messaging, and and it'll be all housed in one central platform. So that like Enzo and that's a platform listed up here at the top. And there's other platforms like that. I need to find out more about GMAS. So I haven't used that. So that's a platform that's obviously if it's connected to like a Gmail or a
Right.
major platform like GoDaddy has Ariel or Aura, that's tied to the Wix has one. They all have certain platform, but you really find the platform that's you can use where you're at now and you can grow and scale with or you feel comfortable with because there's so many of them out there. And I think somebody mentioned, I think that was LaShonda earlier, it's good to have multiple because they're going to give you different based on what you can say the exact same thing to Chat GPT and Gemini and get different created dialogue from that. If you're in that needing that content created, if you already have the content, you're more looking at scheduling and automation, which all of us needs to do because it makes things a lot simpler, especially if you're a solopreneur or have multiple businesses, you can get more done that way. That's sometimes like how you get all this stuff done. And you have all these, and now they have AI agents, and now it's getting really crazy. But you want to learn the basics first and feel comfortable. I will say this. I should have started off by saying this we definitely, no matter what level of comfort we are with AI or technology like that, we want to make sure we embrace it. Not to say we have to be all experts at it, but embrace or have somebody on the team or in the family business or anything that is the point person for that. So they're making sure
Right.
any new like new platforms or newer things that's coming out, you stay engaged. It's almost like when the websites came out, the late 90s, early 2000s, that was like a big boom. Social media came out was a big boom. And a lot of people either was intimidated by it or they didn't grab it the right way. Then a lot of times you can miss, that you hear the term evolve or die, and that's kind of heavy. But you want to make sure you pivot with the time. So like right now, AI is a hot button, but it's a lot of information, so people it can easily overwhelm anybody, just from trying to find out what's the best platform and all that. So that's why it's good dialogue. How I'm glad you mentioned the GMAS. I'll look at that and incorporate. In what ways you say you use GMAS primarily to send out anything in bulk, so emails, newsletters, things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so like it's a constant contact,
Okay.
almost similar. And again, it keeps up with the analytics too of who's opening, how many have not opened, and you can set up reminders. It's an automation system as well.
Okay.
Another thing that we use as a nonprofit, we use a Good Neighbor. I can't think of the name.
Next door is next door.
Nope. It's almost
Okay.
it keeps up with donors.
That's a good one. Is that tied to a fundraising platform?
Yes, Network for Good.
Yep. Network. Now that's a good one. And Audrey, make sure you write that. And I think everybody who's non-for-profit or not, you want to have a donor-centric and just like I'm sorry, the young lady speaking now again, I can't see my list. I still got this PowerPoint up, but just like you mentioned, you want to make sure you you have multiple platforms there.
Okay.
So somebody said Nextdoor. Is that a platform or is that something they were thinking was the name of it?
Well, it's a something that just engage different neighborhoods. They just put information out. They do pass out information. And you can just it's like Facebook, I guess. You more or less can talk about if you have a good someone that did something for your house or something. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, testimonial. So
Or if you're looking for
testimonial.
yeah, somebody say if a kid is lost, they put that up there, or if a dog is lost. So that's
Okay.
yeah. But it's for
Okay.
neighborhoods mainly they use.
And that still would be good, especially tying into what you're doing. And then for the non-for-profit or for-profit, like we're starting to talk into fundraising platforms and going back into automation. It all ties together. So another good example of having a good solid platform of fundraising. You don't have to recreate the wheel every year. So every year you have those donors. Going back to the young lady that mentioned analytics, you have the analytics of who opened it, closed it, the conversion rate. You have all that information aggregated. So you can kind of cherry pick where to focus. So if you see all your clients in one spot, you can see, well, I got 500 emails, but 100 of them never respond or they opt out or whatever. Then you want to start cutting your list down and then adding, because a lot of times what we do, we just keep sending out to people, even though they bounce back, or we want to make sure we delete or get rid of the bad emails or people who just don't want to be contacted. And then you focus on we know it's all a numbers game, but you want to focus on and it's AI platforms that'll weed that out through the analytics and the processes. So they'll see if that email bounced back, they'll just either delete it or delete that bad email or somebody who opts out on their own.
Well,
Other
yeah. What is a good company? UMSO has this program now of teaching about AI. I mean, or what would you suggest a beginner that
Yeah.
doesn't know everything, but what kind of I guess
Mhm.
classes are out there that could really help you, but not make you feel overwhelmed?
Yeah, it's one, and I'll show you some at the end. I had the guys talking. I'm not gonna act like I endorse him, but he says it's a lot of beginner level classes. It's to like bot builders, and it's like a Fortune 500 company and all that. It's a big time, but that might be a little bit advanced. So that one is called bot builders. Another classroom, I think I might have. I'm gonna go back really quick because I might have listed it. It's called
That's
oh
relatively inexpensive. I mean,
yeah, these are free. Like one is called Coursera, Carsera, and one is Udacity, and these are free platform for the most part. And I'll send them to you. I got them wrote down, so I'll send them to you. You're not going to see
okay.
them on the screen here. So Coursera, Carsera, and then it's Udacity, Udacity. So those are two that are free. This guy that I'll show you a quick little video later, his is obviously a cost. I think it's like $100 or something, but it's
Okay.
kind of neat because you can get certified. So that's something. And I'm talking. I do AI. I've seen quite a few of you have been leveraging AI, but the certification stamp that might be good if for your business or if you're the person for your organization that's the go-to for AI. You may want to do something like that 99 type thing. But the other, you can do a lot of free classes. I would even say start off with Canva, um, obviously Chat GPT, Gemini. Those are platforms that you can start off and start kind of growing with, and then you can even type in Chat GPT. What are three best? In fact, I want to pull it up while I'm on my.
I, I had a Canva account when I was taking this leadership class, but I thought it was no longer active, but it seemed like it is, and I need to maybe go back and look at that. And
Oh yeah, oh yeah. As far as let me go back. As far as Canva is a free account. Obviously, you want, and that creates and it steals the thunder from everything I used to do for the last 20 years. So like logos, graphic design, web design. Most old school designers used something called like Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Those
right.
were like some core graphic when you went to school. Nowadays, Canva, which isn't I mean, it's bad for that industry a little bit, but it's that evolution of it. Now you can create a flyer in a matter of minutes, really, in Canva, right? Even if you're not a graphic web developer, you can kind of, or a PowerPoint or a slideshow and things like that. So that
Mhm.
saves obviously money and time because you can. So even if you have a free account, you can still create everything we talked about, from a brochure, newsletter, and you have templates of that, so you can kind of just update it from the time or date and things like that. So Canva is good to have for all your graphic and presentation needs. Any of the, from a website standpoint, you have tons of platform, from Weebly to Wix to GoDaddy now does. But if you can, if you need, if you guys are looking for anything web or digital, that's been my wheelhouse over the last 20. So I can name a ton of them for that. And it's not a right or wrong. It's more so what feels was more user friendly for you, and they're all pretty much drag and drop in that now. And they even have buttons, and they integrated because they saw it right away. So all those web platforms that was already pretty easy to use, now they either integrated an AI piece to make it seamless. So you say, I want a website for a non-for-profit, for a neighborhood association, the colors of blah blah blah. It'll populate that right away, and then you can put your own stock photos in and things like that. And you can even say, and somebody mentioned to custom early on with Gemini, you can say, I'm looking for these types of photos. It used to where you have to go through like iStock or different photo platform. We had to pay a certain subscription fee. So now they're getting away from a lot of that. And so a lot to say a little, but, and that's for all, and I want to get back to all industries represented right now. So we have non-for-profit, which are typically, not all the time, but they have restrictive budgets and things like that. It's good to have an AI point person, whether on your board or on your team, because you want to make sure they can amplify your business. A lot of times I notice it just from a basic marketing, people have an issue with getting the message out consistently to the people they're trying to reach. So AI can help you with some, it's a not even a fancy term anymore, but it used to be called A/B testing or split testing. But now with just split testing in AI, you can get a lot more data through those by putting out 3 different types of campaigns. You can put out a campaign on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, different messaging, and they're going to attract different clients. Say if you're looking for B2B, if you're looking for donor, you would type in and create something based on donor. It's even a fundraising platform. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I'll put it in the group. It's called I think it's like US but fundraiser, but it uses AI too, and it pretty much aggregates all of the donors in your area, zip code, based upon and how much they donated to the organization. So say if you're trying to raise 50,000, or you're trying to even see if that's a good person to not just so much as fundraising, but also for a grant writing platform. And it shows you the success rates of the grants. It shows you what types of businesses or non-for-profits they support, the dollar amount, the demographic, and how much year after year. So that's a good platform. Again, going to the term cherry picking. I think it's called US Foundation. I'll make sure I put it in the chat, but that's more for a fundraising. It has some AI incorporated, but more of a fundraising cherry picking platform to help for non-for-profit. But I want to make sure I get them before I move on. Is it any other questions about what types of, and Audrey, you mentioned some programs or some free services. I'll make sure they're listed at the end. I think it might be at the end of this slide too, but I'll make sure I have Miss Yolanda have them, and then we can have, so make sure everybody can have the free services to stay kind of connected with AI, and also the paid subscription ones, or anything if you want to actually become a quote unquote expert at it. Like you say, you can obviously now. And I would say I wouldn't hire, because now AI consultants are very expensive, but you sometimes want to have somebody who's kind of like the liaison for technology and all that. So they kind of keep you updated. What I would tell everybody on the call, learn at least a new AI centric platform a month. And like I say, if you go through that Coursera or EDX, they have different platforms. Some of them you're already using. You guys mentioned Gemini. We mentioned, what's the other one that's I've been Canva been out for a while. Poster My Wall is probably not as big as Canva. I'd say for the graphics and products that way, Poster My Wall. CRMs, you can use Constant Contact, you can use Action Network. It's a ton of them for capturing your data. Scheduling posts. Nowadays, the social media, if you see Meta, you see on Facebook now, Meta, that's all tied to not just AI, but you also see the behavior responses. So like, and that's tied to AI. So if you're clicking and buying for certain stores or storefronts, it's taking that data in. So you can have an ad that populate saying, Denale's goes to Foot Locker, blah, or some shoe store because he buys these certain types of shoes, and it can always they learn your behavior. So that's obviously all AI data analytic content that's in everything. And you want to have that, make whatever platform you use, you want to make sure that's included. So when you're sending out the basic RSVP, you get their information and data, and there might even be a drop down what events they like to see, what are they looking to see, so you can, and the AI will start building that out. So the next email might be custom based on the feedback you get. Any surveys that you guys use for after event, that's always, and this is not really AI as much, but you definitely want to make sure you have surveys, either auto responded surveys after your event, after your workshop, after, if you do like a back to school event, or if you're doing like a neighborhood event or whatever, you want to make sure you get that feedback, even if it starts out AI, so you can get that information in, and you can either find out what you need to do differently, or what types of individuals you want there as a vendor, or the community. Obviously, if it's a community-based event, you know your market there, but just to do a bigger reach. Any other questions really quick? Let me see. I want to jump to this quick video on a guy that he kind of talks fast. I don't want to, let me pull it up really quick. I'm looking at our time. I'm going to jump out of I'll get back to the PowerPoint too, but I want to jump because he kind of tells, let me pull it up. And if anybody have used this guy before, let me know. But I was just going off of it. I'm not endorsing him, just what he's talking about from a stand. And not saying he's good or bad, or meaning that these are some, and this is called, he has AI certified workshops that he kind of talked through. So I'm going to play. Let me know if you can hear this guy or not, or can't hear him.
I don't hear him.
You can't hear him?
No.
I can't
Nobody
hear him
can.
either.
Okay, let me. Do you
Was
see
there
the screen?
anybody that could hear him?
So you see the little guy in the blazer and everything? Nobody can hear him though?
We can see him, we can't hear him.
If not, I can maybe. Okay, what I might do is
Something flashed up that needed to maybe be open like that. Does that need to open or something? When you flash that up there?
Hey, Denale, we can
yes.
share the link on the information that we send out afterwards if it's not
Okay.
working. Okay,
Yeah, listen.
I'll make sure everyone that's on this call, as long as they've clicked that link above and filled out their information, that they will receive the links for this and the other information that you were going to give them. Okay.
Okay. So I don't want to belabor this point, but this guy, just an overview, what he pretty much talks about, kind of what we're talking about now, but he has workshops, talks about how AI saves you time, money, and improve results. But it's a certification. It's talk about how you don't have to have any tech skills or anything like that. And it's really just classes you take on your own time to kind of, and you obviously got some different testimonials, but to just leverage your business where you're at or where you're trying to go. If you're really trying to incorporate AI, or for some of us who just want to make sure we're taking some of the weight off us because we're a solopreneur and things like that. So pretty good, workshops in there. And then also you can even get a certification, but that's something that has a cost to it. I think, like I said, I think that's 90. So I'm not really as promoting that as much as having a software. Let me get back to the PowerPoint. But before I get back to the PowerPoint, I want to make sure I'm looking at the chat now if I didn't miss anything. Is it, because I know we got about 10 or so minutes, is it anything we want to talk about in particular? I want to make sure I touch on anything that we haven't discussed yet, AI-centric, far as what tools we think we should be using, what are everybody's level. Everybody seems like they're mid to entry level. Anybody consider themselves in more senior level or expert in AI, or everybody kind of more novice, mid level?
I know for a fact I'm beginner.
Beginner. Okay. What from a beginning standpoint, you have a second year, what are some takeaways that you're looking to do or bring back to the family business? Are you looking to just have basic knowledge so you can kind of multiply yourself in a sense of working smart, not hard kind of thing? Or is it more so just making sure you're staying current with the times with AI or not getting overwhelmed?
Definitely both. I know that
And that's for everybody. I'm sorry, that's kind of for everybody. Mhm. You say definitely
AI
both.
yes, sir. AI platforms are the future, and they can make things easier from a a design standpoint of having some renderings ready for a client, and then also Gemini is the platform that I use to kind of polish up emails and different things like that. But I know that there are so many more avenues that could be used that we can use AI for within the business than just those things. And I did have a question for
Absolutely.
you that
Yes,
it's
sir.
not it's not dealing with basically a platform, but just AI in general. We
Yes.
we can speak on our phones and then mention something, and then 5 minutes later we receive an ad. About what we were just talking about. Is
Hmm.
AI any platforms kind of like that in regards to um it's we can like two people can ask chat gpt the same question, but because of our history, what we search for, our
Hmm.
conversation and everything, it'll populate two different results. uh
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely. In fact, and that's if you look, a good example of that is like Facebook. I'll use everybody probably familiar with that, where it's called Meta, and you hear that term a lot now. But so it goes exactly what you said: behavior. So your online behaviors, your search results, your dialogue in different communities, and all that. So that's all taken into consideration, and it'll populate things based on that. So everybody's will look different, even if you could be the same age, same demographic, but it's based on your certain everything you just said. Yeah, and that what a lot of people get kind of nervous. Like somebody like I'll use my dad for instance. He's late mid 70s. He's scared. He thinks social media and all this stuff is crazy. He don't even want to try to get to know it at all or embrace it. Here I am. I'm about to be 46, and I'm kind of in that different generation. But at the same time, we got to. And I've been in technology and marketing. But we have. Then I'll use my daughter, who's 19 at sophomore at Clark, who uses Chat GPT and TikTok for everything. She even said a scary statement when she was in high school, like I learned more from TikTok from school, and that's kind of nerving. But a lot of young people all and here's the to me still a downfall to AI and technology. If you don't have good foundation or bones, like earlier we were talking about being you might have writer's block, so you're getting through that, but don't use it to be the super cheat code for everything, because then you're not going to have the intellectual property or the acumen sometimes. That's the so I seen and I worked at Harris Stowe for years. I remember a lot of students was using Chat GPT for everything, and then they don't have basic foundational knowledge of X, Y, and Z. So that's the challenge. Um, but you want to make sure you're using it because you don't want to get left behind, and you want to make sure instead of taking 3 months on a website, you got somebody else building it in a day, and it looks just as good, and the functionality is there. You can move on to your other thing. You might have 3 other websites, and keep in mind, all websites are just monetization platforms if you do them right. And so you just want to make sure you're leveraging AI for the most efficiently for your business and yourself where you're at. Um, but what I would challenge if we ever and myself, I don't definitely consider myself an expert at AI. Used it a lot, and sometimes I realize how much, especially the nature of marketing, and even I'll use the industry of insurance. We use that a lot now for lead generation, business development. For anybody, if you get in communities with LinkedIn now, you probably once you connect with somebody, sometimes you get an autoresponder message back. Or if you're looking if you're looking for jobs now, it's a lot of it's automated. And this is off the subject, but not. They even have AI filters, so that makes it different from people. If you're my generation, when you used to have a paper resume and all that other stuff, that's kind of done now. So now processing for jobs, interview processes, screening is done. Half of that's done AI based. So we want to make sure our how they used to say your social media platform show up a certain way in your reputation management. But now that you have a, a good, consistent, clean look on all platforms, but that's getting going back to your point, Brother Hill, about how it's picking up your behavior. So like say if you have a low social media presence, say if you've been in business 20, 30 years and you've been doing good work and all that, but your social proof doesn't reflect that, or your reputation management. We all know 20 good things. This is just basic marketing. It's not really AI, but you could have 20 good positive comments, and then you could have 1 or 2 negatives, and those negatives is going to have the weight of the, there's a whole so much more weight. And a lot of times businesses don't, this is called reputation management, by the way, but a lot of times businesses don't address those issues, and then it snowballs. They're like, oh man, why did my business taper off? They don't realize it's 2 posts that's been on, say, a survey or Yelp or something, and they've never been addressed. So people kind of assume if they're not addressed or you don't do anything with that, that's true. So a lot of times so you just want to have somebody that's always aware of how technology can work for you or against you. And in this case, we want to obviously leverage all the different, because it's way more right now, way more pros, but it's always controlled by the user. And then sometimes we have people that are like, I don't want to use AI at all, don't realize they're using it anyway, and the world is using it. So we want to make sure we're in that space. I didn't even realize, like, you didn't think about it. Siri, Alexa, Google Maps, those been around. We've all been using those forever, but we don't really look at it as AI because it's so it's so everyday use for most of us. But
so Denale, since
yes.
we're coming to a close and there's so much more information, can you add your information in the chat, so if someone wanted to contact you after it about it, they could?
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at the time. Yeah, you definitely. But
In
is
addition to that,
any
I'm sorry,
last few questions? And
in addition to that, there's a post in the chat that says, that's from Justine Peterson. If you click that link and add your information on it, we will definitely get you the PowerPoint, the recording, as well. I'm sorry. Okay. And go ahead, Denale. I'm sorry.
oh no, that's perfect. In fact, I'm looking at, and I apologize on the long rant, but I want to make sure if there's any closing questions. But yeah, I'll definitely make sure you have the PowerPoint that has basic information. But I want to make sure there's so many good questions and kind of feedback and dialogue that you get your direct questions answered from a beginner level, or what platforms to use. That video that I was trying to get to you guys to hear, I'll make sure Yolanda get that information circulated. But the goal is just to feel more comfortable with AI, know it's not going anywhere, and then is knowing how to leverage it to better our businesses and better our self-knowledge, and then monetize it for our businesses or where we're at, and then meeting your clients where they're at too, because they're more than likely in that space as well. So
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are you available to teach classes at different businesses, or like more in-depth stuff, or is everything?
Absolutely. And again, in the PowerPoint is kind of a basic outline too, so we can go into more depth. Say if it's something where you want to focus more on for business or for personal, or how to scale and grow. Absolutely.
Okay, how will we go about doing that?
We can go through. I can put my information in the chat, or you can go through. I think did Yolanda post that? Yeah, I can post my information in the chat, or you can and cell phone and contact information.
And also his contact information is on a PowerPoint. Wasn't it on a PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, it's on the last slide.
Okay, we will be sending that out to you guys as well. But if you want to,
and I can put my cell phone here.
yeah, put your cell phone in the chat. This has been awesome. Thank you, Denale. Is there any other questions before we end the session? We have time for one more.
Yolanda, you said that there was the link.
Yeah, it's a link. It says Justine Peterson. If you look in the chat, there's a post from a chat from Justine Peterson. There's a link in it. Do you see it?
It says Zoom US BPIT.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
If you click that link, it'll take you where we can get your information. We're going to use that list for everyone who clicks on that list to send this information out to you that we talked about, which would include the recording, the PowerPoint presentation, and the links that Denale is going to email to me. They'll
Absolutely.
most likely go out tomorrow. Is that correct, Andrew?
It looks like you put it in there twice. Okay, I want to make sure that that was the same one.
Yeah, it's the same one. It's the same one that was up the top. If you did it already for the link that was up top of the chat, then you don't have to do it again. It's the same link.
Okay,
Well,
and what is?
Go
Okay.
ahead. No, go ahead.
The blackball.com.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
your
that's just one of my websites. But Audrey, I
Okay.
think you have my cell phone. I'll put my email here. Email will probably be better. That's just one of like 8 websites. So I don't know why I just sent that one. But yeah, you can
I think I have your email.
okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
anybody can feel free to the 618 or that email, just reach out directly. Cause I definitely and most of the slides had, like I say, basic information, but I want to make sure we get all the questions, and it's so much to kind of talk about. I probably stayed on too many other topics too
No,
long,
you
but
did a great job. Thank you so much. It's just so much of a subject matter that is so large that maybe we may need to do a part 2 lunch
absolutely.
and learn. We'll talk about that, but it's just a lot of information, and we need to catch up and make our
And
lives easier. So it frees us up more time to be more creative and affect more people. So Denale, thank you for your time. We really appreciate you. Thank you
thank
all
you.
for joining.
Yeah, for taking your time out.
Check the email, check the website. We have a lot of really good lunch and
Right.
learns coming up. But if we do a part 2, the information will be on there as well. If you go to our Eventbrite on Justine Peterson. Thank you all again for attending. You have an awesome, amazing day. You can stop the recording, Andrew.